Hi guys, I'm going to do a full moon in Gemini reading for you today, which is today. And a lot of times, full moons, that can be, completion or, kind of having a reflection on what you've been working on, that type of thing. It can also be a heightened time for, intuition and our gifts to kind of come in, especially since this one is a supermoon. A lot of times that's a little bit more, there's a lot more clarity, a little bit more understanding. But, it was kind of funny because, I'm a Gemini rising, and a lot of times, because Gemini is the mutable air. And that's kind of like the fast-moving air that is, always has 100 things on their mind. So sometimes completion is not always easy, right? And these are the big parts of me that, you see where I'm always I have 1,000 ideas and I don't finish any of them. Or I go off to some other thing, and just kind of like that scatterbrain, but it's also a love of intellect and a love of communication. And with the sun being in Sagittarius, Sagittarius is the mutable sign of fire. So this is very much the, this is the fire mutable. So it's very much like the fast moving, right? Where Sagittarius a lot of times is about, expanding in the knowledge and intellect, but a lot of times it's in our beliefs, in our that fiery spirit part of ourselves. So this is a really interesting time. So that being said, I decided to pull a Moonology Oracle, and what did I get? My favorite one always, and so right for me right now. Your dreams need a practical plan. Full moon in Taurus. My husband tells me this all the time. Because I'll get all over the place and I'll be like, hey, and then I'll tell him something and I'll say, I want to do this. What do you think? And he'll say, your dreams need a practical plan. So, maybe this one's for me today. But so I feel like I pulled these two oracles, this one and the mystical shaman, because I kind of wanted to know, what we're reflecting on, what this full moon is kind of trying to show whoever resonates with this, what this is for you, right? So maybe this is about a project or something that, we're trying to put our energy into, something that, we're trying to relate to our dreams. Maybe this is something, that you have for your personal path, a job, a project or creative project, or even if it's just, what you're working on in your life, a relationship, that type of thing. So I pulled a mystical shaman oracle, which is number 32 with Luminous Warrior. The Luminous Warrior has no enemies in this world or the next. He's impeccable in word and deed. He focuses on his light rather than on what hides in the dark. Since he casts no shadow, he is as radiant as the sun and can transform his most terrible enemy into his ally. His power comes not from the sword, but from speaking his truth at all costs. The Luminous Warrior reminds you it is important to focus on your power, wisdom, and beauty, not to be seduced by what seems wrong with you or with the world. Remember that the intention follows attention, and that's so true. So focus on your positive traits. Feed your light with more light until you feel truly empowered. Then there will be little need for action as you resolve all situations from within. And I think that just goes along with that, not looking at your faults. You know what I mean? Minohan Tarot, he always talks about, quit bringing attention to your faults, right? I think we do that a lot. And it comes from that deep need to be humble that I think a lot of us, especially as older folks, kind of have that conditioning where, we were kind of brought up, in that same aspect. We're on the tail end of where our parents were and our grandparents were, where, having to sacrifice yourself in order to be worthy of anything. And just being who you are is worthy. So just so you know that. So I feel like this combined with your practical plan, or your dream needs a practical plan. I feel like a lot of times, and I can relate to this because this is who I am. When you kind of have that need, that urgency to do whatever you're doing and things aren't falling into place as fast as you want, or you see something else that's wonderful and beautiful, it's almost kind of like a feeling of lack, you don't think that you can have it, or you don't think that this thing is going to happen, or, you're not worthy or something like that. I don't know how to relate that, but that's kind of like this feeling that I keep getting, that I need to stop trying to do so many things. And I don't know why I keep doing that. I get excited, right? But there really is no need to do 17 projects at once and not get any of them done. So there's that. But anyway, so I feel like with this luminous warrior, I feel like understanding, like slowing down a little bit, you know what I mean? Realizing that, you are worthy of whatever this is, right? You are going to be successful. So, and with that being said, let's go to our first column. In my spreads, this is kind of how I do things. The first column is who this is about, or the energy that this person is within right now. So we got the Six of Wands and we have the World. So I feel like this is saying that you are going to be successful in this thing. This is success. This is the Six of Wands is success. It's support. It's having the understanding of where you are spiritually too, because these are wands. A lot of times I feel like this is harmony, spiritual harmony, because you have 6 and you have the wands. And with the World, I feel like this is also saying that you're a very balanced person. The World card to me always reminds me of, those 4, mastering those 4 seasons. That's what I always think of. That's my own interpretation. So, whatever. And I feel like this is definitely saying that, like, in this project, this is a project that, you will have support out in the world too. This is something that, the world needs, right? This could be something that, like, you can do from home. It's not something that, like, you have to travel, but maybe this is something you will travel for too. But I feel like this is saying that, this is something that somebody has the ability, they have the knowledge, they have the skills to do this thing. So whoever you are, if you're worried about this, it's not that you can't do it. It's just your dream needs a practical plan, right? Maybe that practical plan is not for everybody, because there's a lot of practical people out there. Maybe you just need the belief, right? So believe in yourself. I always sang the Arthur song. But anyway, so the second column is kind of like what we need to focus on, right? We have the 4 of Wands and we have the 3 of Cups. Both of those are celebration and community cards. Those are like focusing on the successes and the relationships in your life that are, that fill you up with feeling of belonging and joy, right? These are joy cards. These are cards of feeling needed and wanted and, feeling that. Sometimes we kind of focus so much on the negative that, just like with the luminous warrior, focus on the light in these situations, because we're all going through certain things. And a lot of times all it takes is to kind of like sit back and see where that person's coming from. And again, I'm not saying that like you have to be in that, shadow aspect where, and I hate using that as a negative thing, but like in that aspect where you're kind of like putting yourself down, that martyrism. It's not that. It's understanding that maybe perhaps you're able to see something in a different way from a higher perspective. So you're able to see where this person really does have good, and maybe they don't see that in themselves. So maybe kind of shine that light on that person. Or maybe you need to see that in yourself as well. The 4 of Wands also is kind of like the 11-11 card. So, maybe this is some type of relationship, especially since we have the Lovers down there. So this could be something in your relationship or a close, partnership. Maybe this is a partnership thing too, like whatever you're doing, maybe this is something that you need to collaborate with other people with, people that support you, people that have got your back no matter what, whether you succeed or not. You know what I mean? I think that's important too, because a lot of times when you're doing good and you see people, and this is going to sound so negative, and you see people that are like, oh yeah, that's awesome, and they'll all be for you. But when you start to suck or like you fail or whatever, then they're nowhere to be seen, right? Fair weather friends, right? So those type of things. Who are the people that are going to be like, okay, well, it's okay. Yeah, I got your back. You did good. You know what I mean? That's who I feel like this is saying they like to focus on, and be that person for yourself too. So, yeah. But, and maybe also kind of like relaxing a little bit and having fun, because, in both of the 4 of Wands and the 3 of Cups, they're just chilling and having fun. They're doing their thing, right? They're working together in the 3 of Cups, but like them little otters or whatever they are, they're having fun in that water. And those 2 kitty cats are having fun. They're playing. So play a little, right? And that's how you can kind of like, make work play. You know what I mean? That's how you can, make that practicality that some of us hate so much. I don't understand. Like, I am very practical in my understanding of things. Like, I explain things, especially spiritually. Like, I'll explain it super practical. But, like, being practical in other ways is, like, where I'm out the window. I don't know. This is just who I am. But the third column is kind of what your assets, your gifts. I want to say gifts today. I don't know why, but this makes me feel like this is your gift. We have the Eight of Cups. And the Eight of Cups, like, if you see that beautiful cat, she is looking, I say she because she looks like a she, but it could be a he. She's looking at the sun over there. And notice her cups are not spilled. But, you know, she's had her fill of those cups. She knows that she's worthy of more, right? And if you see, like, there's a bird, like, flying, you know what I mean? And it just gives you, like, this sense of, like, regalness, right? You know, understand that you are so worthy in who you are, right? And I feel like this is also saying that this person, whoever you are, another gift that you might have, not only to, like, understand what opportunities are out there, like, you know, because she's looking over there and wants more, but she's understanding that. She also has a gift of gratitude. She's not throwing those cups away. She's just wanting something different, right? She's wanting a different flavor of milk or whatever. And then especially, like, with the High Priestess over there. The High Priestess, to me, in this aspect, you are very intuitive. You are also very observative. So this is somebody who's able to kind of look back and underswear. I don't know. How would you even underswear? Is that where you, like, whisper and call somebody a bad name? I don't know. But I'm such a weirdo. But the High Priestess and the Eight of Cups makes me feel like this is somebody who is able to be appreciative and have gratitude for those cups, right? So you're able to see the things that you had in the past and how they support the thing that you're going for. So that's a gift. Also being intuitive and understanding, you know, the gift in things, being able to perceive what situations are really like, right? A lot of times we look at things and some people just don't have the ability, and we all do at those times, depending on how much of our emotions are trapped in something. If you're able to kind of see the good in the things and the value in things, you're able to kind of use that to your advantage. So, yeah. And then my last column is kind of like what the next step is. It's also about, the advice, kind of like advice. So we have the Magician. I could be wrong. I think we had the Magician in this position yesterday, or was that in the third row? I can't remember. But, and we have the Lovers. So to me, this feels like, you have all the things, you know what I mean? Utilize your crafts, your knowledge, your skill, your ability to manifest and to make positive and beautiful choices, because the Lovers a lot of times can be the choice, right? But I also feel like this is saying that you, also are able to, utilize things in your relationships, in your connections, whether that be with the parts of yourself, whether the thing that you're connecting to, or with a partner or anything like that, your supporters. You're able to kind of use that support and that connection as another asset as well, and not in a bad way. I'm talking about, you can use that support and you can be supported for that person too. But as advice, I feel like this is saying utilize the gifts that you have, and the support that you have on the next step. Okay. And our next card is from the Crystal Angel Oracle, which is Diamond. Value your self-worth. You are God's precious gem. And I feel like this is big in this whole reading, is really talking about understanding that you are meant for success. Quit knocking yourself down. A lot of times when we do that, you don't push yourself forward, right? A lot of times, like when we do manifesting, or, you do certain things, it's the belief in yourself that propels you forward. It's the belief in I can do it. It's the I am, right? That's the whole thing. It just, pushes you forward and gives you the skill because you have the faith in yourself and you have the faith in your God-given right to do the things that you want to do, right? And being successful in being you, right? This reminds me of that Soulja song. I think it's Shadow. I don't know. I was going to sing it, but you guys, I don't know. I'm not ready for that yet. But anyway, so that's a beautiful, beautiful message. And I think that that's so true. And then our last card is Comfrey, which also happens to be a 32. So I love that when that happens. when your oracle cards, like the numbers match. So maybe you're 32. Maybe something happened when you were 32, or there's something in your life that, maybe that means something to you. Or, maybe 5 means something to you, 5. But 32, something like that. I feel like this is, significant. I love when that happens, so whatever. But it's comfrey with completion, achievement, completion of a cycle, success, closure, completion of a long journey, and wholeness and mending. Because comfrey is one of those herbs that's meant for like physical curing. So it's a very good one for like, binding and healing bones and things like that. It's a really strong herb. Why did I say it like that? I don't know. But so yeah, completion. That's definitely what this is saying. I feel like this is somebody that maybe you had started this journey when you were in your 30s, right? Maybe you were 32 at the time, if you're not 32. But I feel like this is saying that, this is part of a cycle that maybe you were in. And at that time, maybe you weren't really proud of yourself. Maybe you were somebody who didn't believe in yourself, right? A lot of times when we go through these cycles and we go through these things and we heal these things, you kind of can look back at yourself and be like, holy crap, man, I don't think I would ever be here. You know what I mean? This many years ago. And maybe that's what this is saying, that you are going to have success. So release the need to cut yourself down and beat yourself up or overdo to compensate. You know what I mean? Whatever that means for you. Use this moon right now, this full moon, if you're going to do any type of rituals or inner thinking or deep contemplation. Really kind of understand and focus on the value and the gifts that you bring, right? You're from this reading, this is somebody who is a very caring and somebody who maybe you don't always put yourself forward. And I feel like putting yourself forward is important, and not in an egotistic way, but in a way that you value yourself. We all have value. So how can other people value you? How can other people see your success if you don't see your success in yourself? So I hope this meant something for somebody today, and I will talk to you later.